Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So this worldwide pandemic that we have, COVID-19, actually has infected 730,000 people worldwide, with a death toll that is nearing 35,000. The numbers are believed to be higher. We don't have the proper testing everywhere yet, but we know that the U.S. is actually leading in the number of cases that they have with coronavirus disease at 143,000. The death toll in the U.S. is over 2,500. Not a lot compared to like Italy or Spain, but it is still a lot at the end of the day. And Dr. Anthony Fauci has actually said that this is the head of the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, who's on like Trump's coronavirus team and all of that. He actually said that the death toll right now, even though we're shooting at a moving target, the death toll could be about 200,000. Trump, under the Defense Production Act, has ordered GM, General Motors, to produce 40,000 ventilators amid all of the shortage of medical equipment. The tri-state, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, have travel warnings issued by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and Trump has apparently talked about even quarantining the whole tri-state area. Greenville and Graduation Party of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. Still, our grind, man. The paraphernalia is out. Go to BFN Shop, and you can find the link at the Black Fox News Instagram page. You can get yourself a paraphernalia like this, different colors, shapes, and sizes. Also, you can get other gear that's out there as well, you know what I mean, for the Black Fox News channel, for the Stop the KKK movement, you know what I'm saying? So support those who support you, you know what I mean? And let's keep this ball rolling. Now, as far as this Rona, you know what I mean, this shit actually has states moving differently. Where you have a state like, for example, Rhode Island, Governor Gina Raimondo actually initially made an announcement to force people traveling from New York to self-quarantine, people coming into the state. But now that yesterday, that order actually expanded to all out-of-state travelers will be required to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. Over in Florida, where they was letting spring breakers run amok, now they want to start imposing some guidelines and have like an interstate highway checkpoint, and they're requiring that people coming from New York or New Orleans to self-quarantine for at least 2 weeks. So you're gonna have to have your ID if you out there moving from these areas. They're actually gonna deploy, Ron DeSantis is gonna deploy the National Guard at the airports to catch people coming flying in from New York. And also they are going to ban vacation rentals or suspend vacation rentals for 2 weeks. So see how that goes out. Bring the ball, graduate. We'll go to Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. The American Academy for Emergency Medicine actually is condemning the removal of Dr. Ming Lin. This is actually an ER doctor in Bellingham, Washington, that went on Facebook and basically condemned the Peace Health St. Joseph Medical Center for not following the proper protocols and guidelines for protecting the workers, healthcare workers, and the patients from catching the coronavirus. And when he outed them, now all of a sudden he's been removed from his post. So that seems fishy. What the fuck? Y'all want this shit to spread? This shit is spreading across all of the jails though, and in the immigration detention centers, and amongst the police forces. New York Police Commissioner Demarche said he expects the police force in New York to actually have 900 confirmed cases, since 14% of the workforce actually called out sick yesterday. In Jersey, you have 700 police officers testing positive for that Rona, and then also Detroit, you have 400 police officers on quarantine. Greenville and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, it seems like there's no love here, where you had the former Hannah University Hospital. This was a hospital last year until it was purchased by a private equity firm last year, and now the owner is basically saying that the city, if they want the hospital, if they want to use the hospital, which is something that has like nearly 500 beds, they have to either buy the hospital or they got to cough up $1 million a month to lease it. Now, you have 500 beds, $1 million. That comes out to be about, correct me if I'm wrong, that's what, like $2,000 per bed per month. You know what I'm saying? Now, my understanding is that there's a $2 trillion bailout package with over $100 billion dedicated to situations just like this. So why don't they have the money Philadelphia actually ended talks with this the owner of this property. So we'll see what happens, man. Greenwall and Graduation. For the new world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Illinois, a 9-month-old has died from COVID-19, catching that coronavirus, and this is the first infant in the United States to have died from the coronavirus. So hopefully by now, if y'all been following me, y'all know that the whole stigma that only old people are gonna get it or whatever, young people can't fall from it. Like, I hope y'all know already that that's not true. Trump had announced that health insurance companies Cigna and Humana are actually going to waive all co-payments related to any coronavirus treatment. So if you need that, you know what I mean, at least during this time where it's cold red, you know, you could get treatment without a copay. Even though experts will tell you these health insurance companies stand to make a fortune when this shit is over due to the treatments that are come after that. Nevertheless, beggars can't be choosers. And Maria Mercader, this is an Emmy Award-winning CBS News executive producer that actually has died. This is a cancer survivor, battled cancer for 2 decades, but she fell to that coronavirus, man. Greenwall and Graduation. The Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So New York City, New York in general still remains to be the epicenter of the coronavirus spread in the United States. Right now they have 60,000 cases. Now remember, the total in the US is 143,000. So over 60K is a lot, is a big chunk of that. They have over 1,000 people deceased from the coronavirus. So as you could imagine, over in New York, right now they're in a frenzy, especially in New York City. Mayor Bill de Blasio said that people can be fined as much as $500 if they're caught not adhering to like the stay-at-home and quarantine rules that are being put in place as they try to deal with this spike in cases. Governor Andrew Cuomo actually said on Friday that they're going to build 8 new hospitals right now in Central Park. This is actually flooded with, like, you know, tents, makeshift hospital beds and all of that shit, whatever, to deal with the overflow. And they're actually even going to set up an emergency field hospital to deal with the overflow from Mount Sinai West Hospital. In Jacoby, outside of Jacoby Hospital in the Bronx, you have nurses protesting the lack of personal protective equipment, and you have similar protests by nurses going on throughout the country, especially in Georgia, Illinois, and California. Greenwall and Graduation. For the new world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Make sure you check out my mixtape, man, @still_I_grind. It's not on that pip, it's on Instagram. The only IG mixtape out ever, done completely on IG, with bars coming from my head, never even touched paper, bro. Giving y'all that pen, giving y'all that music, you know what I mean? That ceremonious, good quality shit that you'll only get from Bishop Grady, you know what I'm saying? So it's the prelude to the album. Make sure you go there and support the movement too. Go ahead, get you some paraphernalia at blackfoxnews.com/shop. You can find the link there at the Black Fox News Instagram page, @Black Fox News. You know, news with a Z at the end. You know how we do. For me, and you get yourself some this gear and other paraphernalia too, different color, shapes, and sizes. We got it all, man. Fuck with us, cause we gonna keep fucking with y'all. Now check this out. Over in New York, Governor Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, actually released an executive order on Saturday, to actually make it. Actually, it's basically saying that the New York Presbyterian and Mount Sinai Hospital system, they can't ban people from pregnant people who are giving birth from having a support partner in the room. They had tried to implement that some days ago, and that caused a lot of outrage. But also, New York becomes the latest state to actually postpone their presidential primaries, which were for next month, but it's actually getting pushed to January 23rd when they're gonna have their state elections and legislative primaries as well. So that should be very interesting. Greenwall and Graduation. For the new world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Make sure you check out my petition. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. You can find the change.org link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or you could check out my Instagram account in the bio. You'll see the link. My Instagram account, GradyGrant716. The link will take you to the petition where it lays out exactly why you should be removed from the platform. Now, on to more on how the U.S. is dealing with the pandemic, the coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Gavin Newsom actually said that they received 170 broken ventilators from the national stockpile, but they have a Silicon Valley company that's working on fixing them all. Nevertheless, shit like that shouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Them ventilators, they're not cheap and they're very crucial in these times. So 170, that's 170 lives that could have been saved, you know what I'm saying, that might be in jeopardy due to that. Nevertheless though, the mayor of Lancaster has also said that a teenager apparently died from COVID-19. This was somebody that was turned away from the hospital due to not having health care. So to all the healthcare officials, y'all got to make sure that this shit don't happen, man. This is life and death. It's more about humanity than it is about fucking insurance and legal tender. You know what I'm saying? Green War and graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report, man. Still I grind. You understand the movement, man. And if you don't, go ahead check out my mixtape, man. @still_I grind. Only IG mixtape ever done. With all bars that are coming from my head, never touch paper, giving y'all straight heat, man. And it's a link too that you can watch. And they take you to the YouTube video where you can watch the whole mixtape all the way through, 24-minute runtime, straight fire. And you can support the movement too, get you paraphernalia like this or other BFN paraphernalia at blackfoxnews.com/shop. The link is in the Black Fox News bio on Instagram. If it's not there, you'll find it on one of our channels. You'll see the link, blackfoxnews.com/shop. Now, Trump on Friday, as I told you he would, he signed that $2 trillion record-breaking coronavirus relief package, which provides $500 billion for a corporate bailout to basically loan these corporations. And even worse though, Trump said that he's not going to adhere to oversight provisions for the corporate bailout, and that the Trump administration is not going to provide any documentation to deal with the audit of these companies. So all that lets you know is that there's some sneaky shit going on with this. And that shit, the motherfucking bill done passed through in front of the eyes of every lawmaker in the House of Representatives and every single senator. So if you voted for them, then you know they not on your side, probably because they hands in the fucking cookie jar. Green War and graduation. For the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So millions of undocumented immigrants have been left out of this economic stimulus package that's coming to like basically save the economy from this coronavirus pandemic. Now, with the undocumented folks, you have obviously a fear that these people are going to lose a bunch of jobs as well, but also that because of Trump's public charge rule, you know, the rule that basically allows officials to deny visas and green cards to any migrants that might be seeking public assistance, it has them too scared to actually go to the hospital. So that's a after effect. You're talking about people that may still even be sick and have coronavirus but are scared to get treated. I told y'all about like hunger strikes that are going on in these immigration detention centers throughout the country, like in Jersey. There's one Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, Washington, where they've been on hunger strike since Friday, protesting, basically calling for them to just postpone deportations until this pandemic is over, basically. But you had a federal judge that actually ruled in California urging of government officials to release immigrant children amid this pandemic crisis. Green War and graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. More on how the U.S. is dealing with that Rona. Oh yeah, make sure you definitely check out BFN World Broadcast number 17, also nicknamed Rona. It basically, you know what I mean? It's a track. It's a hit record if you ask me. Shout out DJ Marquise. And shout out to you know, Cardi B, her voice being sampled on there or whatever, but it's still informative. You know how we do at BFN, you know what I mean? Now, check this out though. You have companies like Instacart. Their employees are going on strike today. Instacart, they deliver, it's an app that has groceries delivered to your home. They're going on strike today, demanding that the company implement some safety precautions and that they instill hazard pay. Like, pay me a little extra if I'm going to put my life on the line to get this paper, you know what I'm saying? So that's going on. But then also in Staten Island warehouse, Staten Island, New York, at the Amazon fulfillment warehouse, workers are walking off the job site today protesting because multiple workers have actually tested positive for having COVID-19. So they actually want the Amazon warehouse to actually close and then get fully sanitized before they start working again. And you have employees at Whole Foods that are planning a sick out tomorrow, Tuesday, across the country, that will basically have them demanding pay for workers who self-quarantine. They're demanding hazard pay as well, and health insurance coverage for seasonal and part-time employees. So it seems like a lot of money on the business side of things, but at the end of the day, with this bailout that they got in the U.S. government, the motherfuckers got it. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. Whole Foods can get that money and pay these motherfucking workers. Now, Whether they will do so or not, we don't know. And then whether the government will be held accountable to make sure it's used for reasons like that, where it needs to be used, we don't know either. Since Trump has said he's not going to follow any of the fucking provision guidelines regarding the bailout, and that they're not going to give any documentation for an audit on any of these companies that take bailout money. But that's a whole nother story, man. I'll let you know how nefarious shit can go and how quickly left shit can go. You know what I mean? Green War on Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So shit is going crazy over there in Europe. If you know, it's going crazy over here in the United States. But in like a country like Italy right now, their number of confirmed cases has actually topped 100,000. Less than the United States. But their death toll is what's crazy. They're over 11,000 people having died from COVID-19, that coronavirus. Over in Spain, they had 840 new cases Sunday alone. That's the highest number of new cases. 840 people died, from yesterday alone, bringing their death toll to over 7,300. So Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, is calling on the European Union to, like, you know what I mean, help out, basically give some funds to actually help these countries deal with the shit, because nationalism is like on the horizon for how they're going to respond to this. Also, you in Britain, they're talking about like people being on lockdown for non-essential workers for like at least 6 months or more. They must be ramping up all of that shit after Prime Minister Boris Johnson was found to be among the 20,000 people that actually have coronavirus disease out there. They have over 1,200 deaths. So Green War on Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. More on how other countries are dealing with the coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic. Over in actually you have in Russia, Moscow is beginning a citywide lockdown today, which is going to affect 13 million people. That right now that brings their death toll. The number of people that have been infected with the virus over there has actually topped 1,000. And over in Belarus, authoritarian president Alexander Lukashenko, he's actually going against like the grain as far as they're not implementing any protective measures in Belarus or whatever, and he's actually telling his citizens to basically drink vodka and visit the sauna if you want to combat the virus. So, you know, disaster possibly looms over there unless they have something figured out. We'll see. Green War on Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So over in Japan, this is you have a comedian, longtime comedian, 70-year-old Ken Shimura, actually died from COVID-19, from catching that Rona. Now, this was like slapstick comedy kind of do on a lot of variety shows and all of that. Regular, known. But all this death comes as, like, you know, Shinzo Abe, the prime minister, and the Japanese government officials, they're all under fire for not imposing any national lockdowns or any like social distancing measures or anything like that. But in all fairness, they don't have a lot of cases. They just had 170 confirmed cases yesterday, 68 of which were in Tokyo. Nevertheless, relative to like all of these other countries that's running rampant, that's not a lot. Definitely a stark contrast to what you see going on in the Philippines, where people who are violating like the national law enforcement officers are beating these people down and even putting them in dog cages. Green War on Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So now on how the Middle East is actually, or some countries in the Middle East are dealing with the coronavirus outbreak, COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, coronavirus disease 2019, or that Rona, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you check out BFN World Broadcast number 17, aka Rona. It's a lot of information and, you know, some turn-ups for y'all to get through this quarantine. Now, over in Libya, for example, you have, there's been escalating of fighting between the so-called Libyan National Army and the Government of National Accord, which is backed by the United Nations. There've actually been 8 confirmed coronavirus cases in the country, and they've actually are set to release 450 prisoners in order to like stem the rise of the pandemic over there in that country. Over in Saudi officials actually claim that they shot down missiles that were aimed at Riyadh along the Yemen border, as warring parties in Yemen have actually agreed to a ceasefire in order to combat the coronavirus disease outbreak. And over in Syria, they've actually had their first death a week after having their first confirmed case. Green War on Graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Panama, you actually have 4 people testing positive for coronavirus disease, COVID-19, and 2 people actually dying aboard this Dutch-owned cruise ship that's actually docked outside of Panama City. Now in Central America, you actually had a Guatemalan man that was had tried to get into the U.S. and was deported to Guatemala, and he actually tested positive for coronavirus, COVID-19. So, you know, that's unfortunately could put them, a whole country in a situation where the shit could spread because they didn't have any cases prior to that. And over in Brazil, some funny shit going on, man. President Jair Bolsonaro still like trying to like downplay the outbreak of COVID-19. Nevertheless, all of the governors in the country are like taking their own provisional and social distancing measures. But Bolsonaro is under fire for like approving this agreement to put restrictions on public access to these records that basically would tell how COVID-19 is affecting the country. So press freedom groups are on his ass about that. Green War on Graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So you got bodies in the United Nations talking about how Africa is actually 2 to 3 weeks away from reaching its peak of new coronavirus cases, whereas they're calling for a $100 billion economic coronavirus stimulus package to ensure that the healthcare systems throughout the continent can handle the swelling of new cases. We'll see how that turns out. Over in Nigeria, the most populous nation on the continent, they actually ordered residents of Abuja and Lagos to actually stay at home. So if you are hearing this, stay at home. You know, because it's the government's orders. Nevertheless, they only have 100 new cases of coronavirus. But it's, you know, could be higher. The testing is limited. Over in Kenya, you had security officials actually deploying tear gas in Mombasa at and beating up passengers with batons, people who were outside trying to get onto this ferry before the 7 p.m. curfew. And over in South Africa, which has the most cases on the continent with 1,300, they actually had police and military officials shooting rubber bullets at these shoppers outside of a Johannesburg supermarket, that people that were congregated in violation of the nationwide lockdown. Green War on Graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So the United States military is actually withdrawing themselves from a 3rd Iraqi military base, the K1 military base. This is actually where this was the site of that rocket attack that took place back in December that actually killed an American contractor and triggered a series of attacks that led to the Trump-ordered assassination of Iranian Secretary General Qasem Soleimani. Major General Qasem Soleimani. So just to put it in context, but that's what's going on in Iraq. They're trying to, the U.S. is trying to consolidate its forces in order to, and you know, keep in mind there was attacks on these air bases earlier this month. They also feel like they're gonna have to be ready to possibly deal with what's going on in the United States in dealing with this pandemic. We'll see how all of this turns out. The Green War on Graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Rest in power to Joseph E. Lowry, Reverend Joseph Lowry. If you're in Atlanta right now on Lowry Boulevard, you know what I'm saying, I want you to either pull over, honk your horns, or, you know what I'm saying, just like, you know, say a silent prayer or pay some respect of some sort. Man, this is a civil rights legend, pioneer, co-founder of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. This is somebody that worked closely with Dr. Martin Luther King up until his assassination in '68. He delivered actually protesters' demands on the 1965 march from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, Alabama, to then Alabama's segregationist governor, George Wallace. So this is somebody that also sat in front of George Bush during the funeral for Coretta Scott King, basically blasting George Bush for the Iraqi war. And you know what I'm saying, this conservative agenda. This is somebody that actually got the Presidential Medal of Freedom back in 2009 when Obama was president. Not, you know, nowhere near fucking Rush Limbaugh. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that actually has blood, sweat, and tears poured into this country, man. So, you know, give him a big salute, man. Rest in peace, Joseph Lowry. Green War on Graduation.